Welcome to another exciting episode of Identity and Access Management Crashcasts. I'm your host, Sheila, and today we're diving into the world of role-based access control, or RBAC for short. We'll be exploring how to implement effective user permissions using this powerful approach. Joining me today is our expert, Victor. Say hello, Victor.
Hello, everyone. I'm thrilled to be here to discuss RBAC with you all.
Before we jump in, listeners, make sure you're familiar with basic access control concepts and authentication methods. We'll be building on those foundations today. Now let's kick things off with a quick quiz question. What's the most common mistake organizations make when implementing RBAC?
Ooh, that's an intriguing question, Sheila. It really gets to the heart of RBAC implementation challenges. Without giving away the answer, I think it'll make our listeners think about the complexities involved in setting up an effective RBAC system. It's not just about assigning roles. There's so much more to consider.
Absolutely, Victor. We'll reveal the answer at the end of the episode, so stay tuned, listeners. Now let's start with the basics. Victor, could you explain what role-based access control is and why it's important?
Certainly, Sheila. Role-based access control is a method of regulating access to computer or network resources based on the roles of individual users within an organization. It's important because it simplifies the management of user permissions and enhances security by ensuring users only have access to the resources they need to perform their job functions.
That makes sense. So it's like a theatre production where different roles have access to different areas backstage.
That's a great analogy, Sheila. Just like in a theatre, where actors, stagehands, and directors have different access levels, RBAC assigns permissions based on job roles. Now, let's break down the key components of RBAC: users, roles, and permissions. I like to remember them as URP.
URP, that's a helpful mnemonic. Can you elaborate on these components?
Of course. Users are the individuals in your organization. Roles are job functions or titles that define an authority level. Permissions are the approved interactions a user can have with different resources. In RBAC, users are assigned to roles, and roles are assigned permissions.
I see. So if I understand correctly, instead of assigning permissions directly to users, we assign them to roles and then assign roles to users.
Exactly. This approach makes it much easier to manage access control, especially in large organizations where user roles change frequently.
That's fascinating. Now, how do organizations typically implement RBAC?
Great question. Implementing RBAC usually involves several steps. First, you need to identify all the roles in your organization. Then you determine the permissions required for each role. After that, you assign users to the appropriate roles. It's also crucial to regularly review and update these assignments as roles and responsibilities change.
That sounds like a lot of work up front. Are there any challenges organizations face when implementing RBAC?
Absolutely, Sheila. One major challenge is role engineering, determining the right set of roles and permissions. It's easy to create too many roles, which can lead to role explosion and make the system hard to manage. Another challenge is maintaining the principle of least privilege, ensuring users have only the permissions they absolutely need.
Interesting. You mentioned the principle of least privilege. Can you explain that a bit more?
Sure thing. The principle of least privilege is a fundamental concept in security. It means giving users the minimum levels of access or permissions needed to perform their job functions. This reduces the potential damage from accidents, errors, or malicious actions.
That makes a lot of sense. Are there any advanced concepts in RBAC that our listeners should be aware of?
Yes. Two important advanced concepts are role hierarchy and separation of duties. Role hierarchy allows for inheritance of permissions, while separation of duties ensures that no single user has conflicting responsibilities or too much power.
Could you give us a real-world example of how RBAC might be implemented?
Certainly. Let's take a hospital as an example. Doctors, nurses, and administrative staff would have different roles. Doctors might have access to all patient records, nurses to records of patients under their care, and administrative staff only to billing information. This ensures patient privacy and data security.
That's a great example, Victor. Now, before we wrap up, let's reveal the answer to our quiz question. What's the most common mistake organizations make when implementing RBAC?
The most common mistake is often overcomplicating the role structure. Many organizations create too many granular roles, leading to a role explosion that becomes difficult to manage and defeats the purpose of simplifying access control.
Fascinating. To summarize, we've learned that RBAC is a method of managing access control based on user roles. It consists of users, roles, and permissions, URP, and offers benefits like simplified management and enhanced security. Implementation involves identifying roles, determining permissions, and assigning users. Key challenges include role engineering and maintaining least privilege.
Absolutely, Sheila. And remember, while RBAC is powerful, it needs regular review and updating to remain effective.
Thank you, Victor, for sharing your expertise with us today. Listeners, we hope you found this episode informative. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe to Identity and Access Management Crashcasts and leave us a rating. Your support helps us continue creating valuable content. Until next time, stay secure.